I gave you the quick version. This is the longer version and analysis of the verses. Like I said, it did go exactly how I expected to go. That said, though, it was disappointing. It was disappointing on a few different levels. Um, but I think knowing how guys are, right? Like I used to manage a poetry tour, right? Knowing how men are and how they show love to each other, internally joke with each other, you know, it's exactly what one of those events looks like. When I used to hang out with the dudes and we would go do shows across country, it would be a lot of that joking and a lot of kind of inside jokes, but also this could hurt somebody's feelings, but that's just what guys do. So there was a lot of that happening on that stage, which I always used to hope that it didn't happen on those public stages, right? Like, unfortunately, when you're so used to being like that when the cameras are off, it's hard for you not to be like that when the cameras are on or when you're in front of a crowd. I can tell like this is what these dudes are like on the regular, and they're comfortable with that. I think at this point they know it's all love, and you crack jokes, and it is what it is. I just wish we didn't have to we didn't have to be part of that inside joke, on this evening, right? Just because I think the music could have spoke for itself. I think that is the ultimate issue with verses at this point is there's only so much more of these types of clashes when you put two artists together and you have them perform song for song like that. Like it's turned into almost a spectacle instead of a celebration. And I hope that we would have, after the last one with Hit Boy, and Mike Will made it like that. That wasn't a good one. I hope that this one could have revived it and put a little bit more juice into it. But I think this was an even more frustrating one to watch because of the inside jokes and because of, I mean, Tank did a whole breakdown a turtleneck, right? Like that. It was funny, I guess. It was cute in the moment, but it just didn't. Tank got hits, and just let's talk about the music, right? Like Tank has 10 albums. Every one of those albums has at least two singles, right? Tank didn't do a lot of those singles. In addition to that, he didn't really do a lot of the hits that were album cuts, right? Like he got songs with Chris Brown. He got a song with Drake. He got plenty of tracks that he didn't even get into. And I wish he would have. I know he's proud of, I know he's proud of Naked, but those dudes weren't there. Pleasure P wasn't there. Like we didn't need those songs. I don't think. And maybe I'm a unique individual, and maybe other folks did want those tracks, but I don't think anybody was watching this and like, yo, I really need to hear that Pleasure P tonight, or I really need to hear that Omarion. I mean, shout out Latoya Luckett for being it. It's fine. She was there. So, yeah, get your song off. Jamie Foxx, of course. It's always great to see him perform. So that was amazing. But we didn't necessarily need. He did about 4 rounds worth of features, which for me, most of those rounds automatically went to Tyrese. Tyrese, on the other hand, again, let's stick into the music. Tyrese has hits as well. But he has a smaller catalog to choose from, which is problem A. And then B, most people don't know Tyrese got 6 albums, right? Most people stop paying attention after album 4. And even that, like a lot of people stop paying attention after album 2, maybe 3, right? A lot of people didn't pay attention to, and I don't think he did a song from that 2000 Watts album. I could be wrong, but I don't remember him doing one from that 2000 Watts album. So again, that's an album people don't really pay attention to. He did On Top of Me. He did Sounds of Making Love. Those were some of his biggest hits on his third album. His Black Tie album is one of my personal favorites. He did a couple of tracks on that, but I know a lot of people don't know that album. So that is the men I saw the matchup. I truly didn't think it was the best matchup because of that. Because I know Tyrese has songs that are album cuts, and you know, yeah, we know lately, we know Sweet Lady, we know How You Gonna Act Like That, but a lot of people don't know those other Tyrese cuts, and you really don't know anything off those last two albums except Shame. Um, so it didn't feel like the best matchup. Um, I wish, and I think after watching it even more so, I wish that Genuine would have been part of this versus so that it could have been a three-man. I think that's what was needed to make this the right show. I don't know if it would have made it more chaotic or if it would have made it a little better because they would have had to be tighter. I also know that is a lot of what they're doing when they do TGT shows. So it's the three-man, and but I think that would have helped in terms of just sticking to the hits, just focusing on everybody's 8 best tracks, right? And yeah, you could do medleys. Tank did some medleys that worked. We didn't need When We and the When We remix. That I'm sure it was just a scheduling thing. He didn't know Trey was going to be there, but it wasn't necessary. I wish G would have. When you think about TGT, it worked for me. My thoughts were it always worked because of Genuine. Genuine brings something between them that is almost necessary. You got two Capricorns they're gonna clash regardless. I'm a Capricorn, like it's gonna be a lot of talking, it's gonna be a lot of clashing, especially when those egos are present in the room. Which I'm sure is what the best man is like with Tay Diggs and Morris Chestnut, right? Like two Capricorns. I feel like it's the same type of thing. Tay Diggs is probably Tyrese, Morris Chestnut is probably Tank. But who knows, right? But ultimately, it was a good night. I feel like it could have been better. Um, but I'm also happy that Tank got the opportunity to shine the way he did. I'm happy that Tyrese was able to get off those hits and still celebrate his classics and still celebrate what we know Tyrese to be. So ultimately, it was a good night for R&B, but I'm not sure if it's a good night for verses.